All right. So today, before beginning the session, let me ask you all to do something. Okay. Clasp your hands like this. I'll keep counting, like let's say 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, and you keep clasping your hands. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every time I count a number, you have to take your hands off and bring them back together, right? 8, 9, 10. All right. Now you tell me. Okay, Dattatreya has a great message. Thank you, Dattatreya. Yes, now you tell me, while you were clasping your hands, was your left thumb over your right thumb or was your right thumb over your left? If it is right over left, put ROL in the chat box. If it is left over right, put LOR on the chat box. Okay, there's ROL, LOR. Wow, wow, lovely. Okay, you all remember, is it? I'm so surprised. So you are all self-aware. Very nice. There are a few ROLs and there are a few LORs. Lovely, lovely. Let me tell you, if it is ROL, I don't have any proof. Huh? Please don't ask me for proof. If it is ROL, it means you are creative. If it is LOR, it means you are analytical. Some scientist said. I don't know who that scientist is. All right, that's not important. Now, all of you who did ROL, do LOR, right? And all of you all who did LOR, do ROL. And I'll try again. I'll count the numbers again, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm doing myself, but I'm failing. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Was it easy or difficult? If it is easy, put E on the chat box. If it was difficult, put D on the chat box. Easy or difficult? D, E, or D, D, E, D. Okay, some D's and some E's. My God, all E's. I want to meet all of you because it was difficult for me. Lovely. Some difficult and some easy. Let me ask you, how comfortable was it? Was it comfortable or uncomfortable? Changing the ways. Oh, did I already use the word? Can I get a verbal response?
Felt uncomfortable and at first, and then it was easy.
All your fingers were, they were like fighting with each other, no?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Trust me, and let me tell you, that is where I'd like to begin my session. Change is uncomfortable. Write that down now, okay? Whenever you want to just change, it's not easy. A change as simple as just intertwining your fingers in a different fashion is difficult, right? And imagine all the other kind of changes we want to make in our personal lives and in professional lives. So yes, change is uncomfortable. Let me go forward, right? If we continue, let us say, okay, oh, somehow that changing fingers and all was uncomfortable. Similar way, all the other changes will be uncomfortable. Let's continue with what's comfortable. What do you think is going to happen if we choose to continue with what's comfortable?
We don't see any growth
Okay.
in our careers.
Lovely.
We
No
might
growth.
not be able to leverage the full potential that lies
Uh-huh.
in the uncomfortable situation.
My God, you won't be able to leverage potential, okay? Let me remind all of you all back in school days, or, I know for a fact that all of you all are maybe 90s kids or maybe a little above. Yes or no? Anyway, I'm assuming so. So let me ask you, you all remember those cameras we had back in those days? We used to go buy that film.
Yes.
Put it, yeah. If we didn't have a camera, we would go ask our relatives to and borrow the camera from them whenever we went on small trips and tours. Remember? What was the brand of the camera? What was the brand of that camera? Anybody remembers?
Nikon, I guess, no.
Okay. Kodak. Okay. Kodak. And let me also see, look at this one. And what was the first mobile your parents had? Remember?
Nokia.
Nokia.
Yeah.
Motorola.
Nokia.
Motorola, yes.
Yes. This one. Remember the snake game all of us would play? Fight for the phone, fight for the turn.
Yeah. Space jet as well.
Yeah. Do you see these two somewhere, anywhere around you today? Not really.
No.
Yes, let me tell you, if we continue with what's comfortable for us, we will also perish, just like the two things on the slide, right? Not just these two, 88% of the Fortune 500 firms that existed in 1955 are now gone. They are either bankrupt or, they merged with somebody else, or maybe they still exist, but are not very successful and things like that. Somebody said SpiceJet. Yes, of course. And there are other famous companies like Yahoo, General Motors, BlackBerry. You all remember BlackBerry? The QWERTY keypad phone that, all the youngsters had. It was a fancy for them. And Sony. We don't see them anymore. I'll tell you, Kodak camera, they failed to change from film to digital. Not that they didn't know, they knew, but somehow they could not lead the change. They could not manage the change. Same with Nokia. Nokia was using a particular operating system called, anybody remembers the name of the operating system Nokia was using?
Symbian.
Lovely. Symbian. And somehow, you know what? Android, people from Android first went at and knocked at Nokia. Hey, hello, listen, we have something called Android. We would like you to just try this one. But somehow they said, no, we're happy with Symbian. And they said bye-bye to Android. And then Android then went to Samsung. And then you know the rest of the story. Nokia is gone. Today, I think they merged with Microsoft and they're still fighting for their market space. That is what happens when we continue with what's comfortable. We will perish. On that note, yes, I think there's this, change is a norm. Unless an organization sees that its task is to lead change, that organization will not survive. You want to agree, disagree? If you agree, thumbs up. If you disagree, thumbs down. I'm waiting for your responses. Are you all really thumbs upping and thumbs downing? Please do the emoji. Anyway, I see a few thumbs ups. Okay, they're all agreeing. All right. On that note, I welcome you all to today's session on leading change effectively. Let's go forward and understand, why change, how do we change, what is required and all of that. Let's dive deeper into the session. But before that, I'd like all of you all to just think and tell me what makes change uncomfortable. To kind of trigger a little thought process, I will show a video to all of you. Please watch the video, come right back and tell me what you observed. Why was change so uncomfortable in the video? Or how did the people in the scene react and all of that? I'm sharing, please be patient with me. Okay. Where are you? Okay. Are you able to check my YouTube?
Yes.
And please confirm if you're able to hear.
Yes.
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 Oh no! I'm lost! Where's the line? It just went away. What do I do? Help! I'll be stuck here forever.
Do not panic! Do not panic! We are trained professionals! Now stay calm. We are going around the leaf.
Around the leaf? I don't think we can do that.
Oh, nonsense. This is nothing compared to the twig of 93. That's it. That's it. Good. You're doing great. There you go. There you go. Watch my eyes. Don't look away. And here's the line again.
Thank you, Mr. Soil.
Good job, everybody.
Okay. Awesome. So yes, what do you think happened in the video? The ants were all happily moving. They were carrying food. And then what happened?
Unexpected things happened, like which is causing trouble.
Yeah.
They got,
Next.
Inconvenient things, we can say.
Yes. And when some kind of change, a leaf fell, right? A leaf fell in the path. Were the ants prepared for it?
No, they
They were
weren't.
not.
No.
They were
No.
not. As a
They
result,
got panic
yeah, they got panicked. Yes.
by seeing the new change.
New change. Yes. Yes. Were all the ants ready and willing to look beyond that little hurdle?
No,
No, they were
No.
not. What
they need
happened
one
next?
motivator.
They needed somebody to show them their path. That is exactly what makes change uncomfortable. As the ants were moving, the path was all clear. They didn't expect an external agent to cause that change in the work that they were doing, right? Lack of preparation, and that led to something called uncertainty. Yes or no? They didn't know what to do. This is exactly what happens when changes occur. We are all uncertain. We do not know what to do and how to do. And what does uncertainty lead to?
Fear.
Maybe trouble.
Awesome. Somebody said fear. It gives you a fear. Fear of failure or fear of not knowing what lies ahead. And then out of this, out of fear,
It will lead to stress.
yes, that causes resistance.
Resistance.
It's not just this little ant story. Can somebody please confirm if you're able to see my slide, or is it multiple slides at the same time?
There are multiple.
Yes, I understand that. Just a second, I'll set it. Please be a little patient with me. I'm setting this up. Now,
No, it's fine.
what about now?
It's good. Yeah.
It's great. All right. Thank you so much. Yes. Not just these little things, the ants, not just us, large corporations, people who you think are big and influential, everybody goes through the same cycle when changes occur. There is uncertainty. As a result, there is fear. As a result, there is resistance. Let me tell you this with the help of an example. When I show you something, you just tell me what you all remember. Just a second. This one. What's your favorite go-to place?
Domino's.
Lovely. Somebody said that. And yeah, thank you so much. You know for a fact that today Domino's is present all over the world with 16,000 plus outlets. And it's the second largest pizza chain in the world. That is its position today. But back in 2008, they were actually, almost shutting down. I'll tell you the story. The customers started complaining that, the crust is like cardboard and, the sauce was like ketchup and we didn't like the pizzas. And, the videos went viral, people complaining about the taste of the pizza and all of that. Somehow there was a situation where the entire world was against this, not world, the country it was present in at that point of time. So there they wanted to make some kind of a change to, change things for Domino's, right? So then, again, something very bad happened. They had a video where the staff, somebody inside the company did something very gross. I'm not very sure of what happened, but somehow there was a lot of resistance. People did not like Domino's for whatever. And then they didn't have any option but to shut down because they were facing losses. At that point of time, this guy called Patrick Doyle took over as the CEO of the organization. After taking over as the CEO, what do you think is the first thing Patrick did? I gave you a scene, you know, what was the kind of disliking that people had for Domino's. In such a situation, this guy called Patrick Doyle steps in as the CEO of the organization. What do you think is the first thing he did? Any guesses?
Change the menu, suppliers.
He
Okay.
observed all the negative things, all the negative criticize.
He made
Yeah.
the crust very soft.
Okay. So one of you was very close. Any other- Yeah.
whatever the negative feedbacks he got,
Huh.
he worked on it. Might be.
Okay, he worked on it. Okay, you're also coming close. Somebody else?
I mean, taste, whatever taste, everyone will complain based on the taste itself only, right? Most of the members. So
Mhm.
whenever taste is good, then
Mhm.
everyone will accept that one. If the taste is bad, then everyone will reject. So they might be changed some spices, something. They added some extra flavors like that.
All right, all right. Your guesses are all great, but one gentleman was coming very close to the actual thing what Patrick Doyle did. Patrick Doyle went on. Sorry?
New offers?
Okay.
I guess it should be something with the crust itself.
Right. You're all focusing on the product, but this person focused more on people and their feedback. He went on in the media. They started an ad campaign where the CEO of the organization went and admitted that they are failing. He went on in the media and he said, yes, our pizzas are bad and we understand your feedback. This is what he exactly did. Can you imagine? Yeah. Anybody who has different thoughts about this?
And he also attached negative feedbacks in the kitchen of their stores. So
Yes,
that they
yes.
chefs.
Yes, they did all of that. He went on and he asked people to give them a chance. We will come to you and collect your feedback. And then all the chefs, all the staff, they went on in the city and they collected feedback from people who ate, and they also took opinions from them. What is it that you're looking for? What is it that you exactly want in the pizza? How do you want to what flavor do you want the pizza in? What is your most favorite pizza? And things like that. They did a rigorous ad campaign, and then they came back. They started experimenting from scratch. You know, what are the ingredients that we're going to use for the crust, what are the toppings and things like that. It's a long story. I'm not going to take you all through the story. You can research on the net and you will find beautiful stories. And ultimately, eventually today they have 16,000 plus outlets across the world, and they are one of the most successful pizza chains across the world. So the lesson from this one is, when you want to change, you have to accept that you have to change. That's exactly what this guy did. Oh, yes, we need to change. We will change, and we need your support. That's exactly what he did with the customers. You can translate the same thing to internal also, to any of your stakeholders. You can tell people what is causing the failure, or how are you looking to make the changes? Or if you don't want to do that, at least tell yourself that you have to change. And that is the first step towards change. And I'll tell you, when you're honest, when you're authentic, just like Patrick Doyle, people will definitely pay heed to you, because our brains are hardwired to like honesty. When people come and are honest with their opinions, with their ideas, with their actions, we will trust them and we will encourage them. That is the lesson that we're all learning from this Domino's story. Going forward, let me ask you all a few questions, and you can either give a yes to those questions. Tell yourself. You need not tell me. You need not tell anybody. And you can tell a yes or a no, right? Do you always accept the change as positive? Yes or no? Tell yourself. Do you see the change as an opportunity? Meaning, yes, if I make this change, this is going to bring me opportunities. This is going to make my life better. This is going to make my work better. This is going to bring better results. Do you think like that? Do you see change as an opportunity? Do you start making plans as necessary? Oh, yes, this is what I have to do in order to implement this. Do you quickly take steps to learn new technologies or, maybe understand new operational plans and things like that? Do you look towards future? Just like Patrick did, do you also lead the change by example? Do you make the changes and do you show it to others so as to make others to follow what you're doing? The next one, do you consider others' opinions, others' concerns, others' feelings? Do you look at others as an important source? Or is it all about you, you, and you? Do you sit down and separate your strengths and weaknesses and look at them, carefully analyze them, and understand what strengths you have to retain and what weaknesses you have to let go? Do you do that? A careful analysis of strengths and weaknesses. Do you admit mistakes? Again, just like the dear CEO, do you learn from them? Yes or no? And the last question that you will answer to yourself, throughout the process, yes, just like the clasping hands exercise, there will be failure, there will be hurdles, there will be discomfort. Do you stay positive and optimistic? Do you look for favorable results? Or do you simply, abort the change process as soon as one simple hurdle occurs? Out of 9, what do you think is your own score? If it is anything above 5, you are decent. You should be proud of yourself. If it is less than 5, I think you have to understand that change is the only thing that is permanent, and it's quite okay because you would have survived many changes. Yes, I don't want to take you all back to, history. You would have survived a lot of changes. So similar way, you will definitely get over any kind of hurdles that come your way, and you will definitely be able to make change a good one, a positive one for you. So don't have to worry about it. So 5 and above, yes, you're all champs. Keep it up. Anytime a change occurs, these are the ways, people react to it. A critic is somebody who opposes the change, right? How do you think critics' minds think? Anybody who wants to give me a verbal response? How do critics think? What do they say?
They
I said-
first ask why we need to change. First question.
Yes.
They might think that everything is going good and somebody who's not understanding this thing is just not understanding the new technology or something, or the technology that is currently in use.
Superb, superb. How about victims? What does a victim's mind look like? As soon as somebody comes and proposes a change, the victim starts panicking. Oh my God, it's not going to work out. I'm going to fail. We are going to go for a toss. Everything is going to go to ground zero, things like that. Extremely panicky and afraid, fear of failure, I would say. Bystander, this guy is a very tricky guy who ignores the change. How do you think the mind of a bystander looks like?
Not accepting anything.
Yes.
Always
He's
he
blind to the
thinks-
change. Sorry?
Always they think they are correct and everyone is wrong like that.
I'm not bothered about the change. Let the change happen. I don't care. Let the change not happen. I don't care. You are simply not a part of the entire process of the change. He or she, it could be. And the next guy, charger. These are very, very smart people. They just want to be above everybody. They know what to do, how to do, and how well to do. They go ahead and they're not bothered about the circumstances. They're not bothered about pros and cons. They just go ahead and they rush to change because they want to be the first one to get the change done. And if the rest of the people are falling behind, they think it is their problem, not my problem. So these are chargers. I'm sure you all would have seen people like this around you.
Yes.
So many.
So many, okay. And finally comes the actual guy, the ideal guy, the navigator. The navigator is somebody who is completely empowered to work with the changing circumstances. He is willing to change, he is prepared to change, and he is also looking forward for setbacks. I'm sure there will be setbacks in the process of change. I am open to dealing with them. That is how the mind looks like. Now, all of you all tell me, who do you think is the majority? Is it C, V, B, or chargers or navigators? Critics, victims, bystanders, chargers, or navigators?
Bystanders will be more, I think.
Very smart. Yes, there'll be a lot of bystanders. Yes. And what do you think is the ideal way? How do you think an organization should be full of?
Navigators.
It should be full of navigators. Yes. Because changes are constant. Changes keep coming. There is no way by which we can do without changes. Somebody on the chat box is also saying victims also. Yes, there are a lot of victims and there are a few bystanders. I'm sure there are a few chargers also. Don't you all agree?
Yeah, but very less compared to others.
Less, is it? Okay, nice. And critics also. There are critics. Every time somebody proposes, there'll be somebody who is ready to judge and ready to give them criticism. Undue criticism. Yes or no?
Yeah, most of the times the critics are from the generation gap, like they're from the different generation. I mean, most of the times.
Yeah. So there are all of these, but it's nice to be navigators. I'm not saying everybody has to be a navigator all the time, but it's nice to look forward to becoming a navigator. Yes, the change is here for it. I am going to look at the change. I'm going to try and implement it as much as possible. I'm going to experiment. I'm going to take the risk and things like that. Positive approach towards change. Let's go forward and understand where we all need to begin in order to, start the process of change. Okay, I didn't animate the slide anyway. This is a 3-step model. I'm not going to talk to you the behavior science. It's called Kurt-Lewin model of change. There are just 3 stages. The first one is unfreezing. Unfreezing meaning you have to get rid of the old behavior and old ways of working. It could be working style or technology or process, whatever. And then moving meaning you have to understand how you can move forward by making a few changes. What are those changes you all need to incorporate and how you're going to do this? Bringing things together, bringing people together, bringing ideas together, fixing the processes and things like that. And finally, refreeze. After you have all the options, after you have experimented, you will slowly fix that. What tool are we going to use? What is the timeline that we have? What is the deadline by which we're going to achieve this and things like that? I'm not saying once you refreeze, everything has to be perfect. Even after refreezing, you will have to still be open for failure. There is no one ideal route to manage change, not anywhere in the world. It is all about being optimistic and being with each other. And there is one more thing that we will all do that is called as force field analysis. I somehow dislike using all the technical names, but yes, I'll simplify it. When there is one change that you all have to make, you will look at forces that are for change and the forces that are against change, right? Let me give you all one quick case and I'll invite responses from all of you. For example, we want to upgrade all the technologies that we're using in the system, right? That is a change, upgrading the systems. All of us use a computer, a system, all of us use tools and technologies, whatever applies for you. You all are proposing the change of upgrading. What do you think are the forces that are for change and against change? I will invite responses.
Forces will be like the community which will be proposing the change.
Yeah,
Willing to
organization
accept
side.
the change. Yeah.
1 second, I will park this. I think I have a question in the chat box. Somebody is asking me charger and navigator. The difference between charger and navigator is charger is willing to make the change, but he is not bothered about the circumstances. He is just in a rush to make the change. But if you are rushing to make the change, it might backfire. All of us need to measure the change. You know, what is practically possible? And how will the rest of the team react or respond to the changes that are being made? This is very important. A charger is somebody who doesn't do that, and a navigator is somebody who does that. Did I clarify? Please show me a thumbs up so I'll move to the next slide. I think it's Sai Kiran. Yeah, Sai Kiran. Did I clarify, Sai Kiran, or did I further complicate it? Okay, anyway, there's no response. Okay, lovely. Sai Kiran said yes, so I'm going forward. Lovely. So yes, forces, what? Oh, okay, I'll simplify. I'll use simple language maybe. What do you think are the pros of upgrading the systems? And what are the cons of upgrading the system? If the cons are more than pros, we will stop. If the pros are more than cons, we will go forward. That's the, math. Anybody? Can I invite some verbal responses?
We'll get better experience.
Awesome. Yes, better user experience. As simple as that. Super. That is for change. Anybody against change?
Budget.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you from the finance team? It was just a joke. Thank you. Anyway, one more response.
Increase efficiency in work.
Increased efficiency. Lovely.
And like as far as commercial is concerned, so it should get reduced the cost.
There might be a learning curve when it forces against the change.
Awesome. Learning curve. How many people are willing and ready to learn the new upgraded technology? How much time is lost in, imbibing to the new technology? That's against change. Super. A couple of more answers.
It might impact future as well.
Yes. You never know how the new changes are going to impact. Again,
Yeah, it might be
uncertainty.
like a bad or good.
Good.
Both the ways.
Uncertainty. Lovely.
For change would be like sustainable, scalable more, and yeah.
Right. So yes, this is called as force field analysis. Every time you all want to change, you need not do this exercise alone. You can do it alone as well, but yes, it will be really nice if you involve your team in this force field analysis. Boss, look at this. This is the change that we are proposing. All of you think. You can even get your team into pairs or, into two groups, and one group can look at forces for change and the other group can look at forces against change. And you can calculate like this. Look at the scale. The scale is beautifully divided into 5. And I think the pros are outweighing cons. So they'll definitely go for upgrading the systems, right? So this is an important decision-making technique, an important change proposing technique. People propose change based on the force field analysis only. So it's one of the most followed approaches across. Going forward, as you all navigate change, there are a certain styles you all have to follow to set a strategy. You have to be both disruptive and realistic. Disruptive meaning, anybody who understands the meaning of disruptive? You can check in Google and tell me, that's okay.
Like how Jio did in the telecom sector.
What did they do? Wow.
They do disruptive.
You're actually right. What did Jio do?
So they disrupt the market and they make their own clients. So they make huge changes in the market. it lead to Airtel reducing the prices.
Yes.
So that's basically drastic changes in
Yes.
everything.
Lovely, lovely answer, lovely example. Disruptive meaning you need to be able to innovate and bring out groundbreaking technologies or groundbreaking plans and ideas. That is exactly what Jio did. Very nice. Lovely and realistic. Yes, okay. The trainer said you all have to be disruptive. So we'll all try and innovate. But no, that is not what is ideal. We'll have to find a great balance between being disruptive and realistic. What are the practical limits? You can look at all the facts, statistics, logic, and opinions, and then you can find a balance between being innovative and practical. And every time you propose an action, every time you propose a change, it should always focus on action. What action are we going to do? What action are we proposing to the team? Followed by, you also have to understand how your structures and processes have to be improved. That is reflecting on the own changes. Being directive and inclusive. You will tell people what to do and how to do. Plus, you will include everybody. Including meaning you will ask people what to do, how to do. If we do something in a certain way, what might happen? How do they feel about it? Everybody has an equal say. You are involving people in decision making also. You are directing, you are including. This is another thing. Followed by influencing and connecting. I think networking plays a great role when you are making changes to your existing systems. You connect with people who can add value to you. You foster alliances and build efficient networks. You bring people together, and you have to bring all of them to consensus, meaning a shared agreement. And that is how we go to create win-win situations. You influence people by telling them how we can make a change for our own good. And the last thing, as leaders, as managers, as team players, all of us have to be goal-oriented. All the actions must lead us towards goal and nothing else. The goal is the only thing. I remember a story from the Hindu epic Mahabharata where, this guy called Arjun would be asked to hit the eye. Anybody knows the story? And he comes and says, I only see the fish's eye and nothing else. It's a little too philosophical, but yes, every time the changes are being made, you have to focus more on the goal and less on everything else. As we are making changes, it's also very, very, very important to first be transparent. What do you understand by transparency? What is transparency?
Being true to oneself.
Oneself and also?
To others as well.
To the people
who are
in the
involved in
team.
the process.
Yes.
We are clear in what we are doing.
Awesome. Awesome. You tell people why we need to make a change. Create a sense of urgency. Guys, now whatever we are doing is not bringing us what we want. In order to get what we want, this is what we need to do. And you tell people why you are making the changes. Everything is known to everybody, and people are also willing to come back to you with questions. That is transparency. And followed by coaching. Every time changes happen, everybody is vulnerable. Everybody is in a state of fear, shock, denial, things like that. So coaching comes of use. If you are a manager, if you are leading a team, if you are responsible for others' results, it's nice to be there for them, to coach them, to make them understand that it's okay to fail. It's okay to experiment. It's okay to get mediocre results, but let's go ahead with it. If they are personally not well, if they are mentally not well or physically not well, I think all of that you will all have to look at, and that is what will be called as empathy. Yes or no? I don't know. There was a session on empathy before. How many of you attended that session? I'm not very sure. A coach is somebody who is empathetic towards his team. A manager who is a coach. right? Followed by emotional intelligence. Yes, I said empathy. Not everybody reacts in the same fashion. I have introduced to all of you all 5 ways of responding to change. We have seen victims, we have seen navigators, we have seen chargers. All of their mental states are different. It's important to understand how people are feeling about the changes that are being made. How do we understand? By asking them, right? By approaching them, by listening to them, by observing them, by evaluating the answers that they give. We understand how they are feeling about the changes that are being made. That is emotional intelligence for you. And followed by strategic thinking. What is strategy? What is strategy? I think we'll maybe do another session on strategy shortly. Good strategy, bad strategy. What is strategy? No rocket science. Strategy is very simple.
Plan.
A plan, okay?
A common path that everyone will follow uniformly.
Yes. A plan of action that all of us will follow to achieve the common goals or the shared goals, right? So how am I designing my strategy? Am I attentive to all the details? Am I mindful of all the changes I'm making? Am I mindful of the result that I'm going to get? These are all the softer sides, softer skills that all the change managers must have. The top is transparency and emotional intelligence. And after you get a clarity of who is doing what, how people are doing certain things, you will communicate it to them. So people will not have that vacuum, information vacuum. What happens when there is information vacuum? Information vacuum meaning people don't know what's happening, who is doing what. What happens when there is information vacuum inside a team?
Panic.
Panic, point number 1.
Everyone in the team will not be aligned.
Super, people are not aligned.
And don't know how to proceed further.
Yes, people are tied. They don't know how to proceed.
There won't be any transparency, so there might be trust issues.
Super.
We can't achieve the goal which we are focusing.
Awesome. Let me tell you, all of you are right. And when there is information vacuum, people's minds are not calm. They will end up thinking whatever they want. And that is how entire danger occurs. People will begin crafting stories based on hearsay, based on gossip, and also based on their past experiences. And this makes the entire thing more complicated. It will be difficult for all of you all to move those people out of their bubbles. So it's nice to keep it transparent. Do not give way to information vacuum. Keep information flowing. Let the information flow to all the levels of your team. Now you will ask, okay, if I have information, I will pass it down. What if I don't have information? How will I get? You all have the question, some of you?
Yes.
Yes. You have to clearly open your mouth and ask the concerned. The whole idea is to not succumb to the information vacuum. Don't succumb to the information vacuum. Muster courage, go approach the right people and ask them your questions. And do not worry, people always like assertive people. If you are assertive about it, people will definitely like it and people will somehow answer you sufficiently, if not wholly and completely. Because more often than not, when changes are happening, everybody is in a state of shock. Not you, not me, not the top people, not the frontline people. Everybody has the same level. But find that partner who empathizes with you and find somebody who can give you answers to at least some of your questions. Okay, somebody has a question in the chat box. Let me take a second. I'll park it here. I'll come back. Dattatreya is asking me, is it a part of emotional quotient? Are they interrelated? How are they interrelated? All right. So emotional intelligence is measured and the number is called as emotional quotient, right? Emotional quotient is the number that tells you how emotionally intelligent you are. Did I clear your question? And there are some scientifically developed tests which tell how emotional intelligent you are. I think I did one emotional intelligence session earlier. If you would be interested, I'll be happy to provide the link for you to watch it, to watch the session that we did earlier. Anyway, going forward, I said we have to avoid information vacuum going forward. And there's one more thing that we all have to avoid. This one, the blame game. I didn't do it. Somebody else did it. I think there's a flaw in the system. Something has gone wrong. The client made it. The other department made it. The HR department made it. The finance department did the mistake. We are ready to point fingers at everybody else but ourselves. Yes or no? So when we resort to blame game, who is the winner? Who wins a blame game? Anybody?
Who is most confident in blaming?
Okay. Who confidently blames wins the blame game. Is it lovely? Any more responses?
Experienced person.
The experienced people win blame game. Okay. More answers?
I think leaders who are on the top.
Okay, leaders.
No winners.
Awesome. You get the cherry on the cake. There is no winner in the blame game. Everybody who participates in the blame game is equally a loser. Because what benefits are we going to get out of blame game? What are the results of a blame game?
The organization is only going to get affected, or the surroundings.
Yes. The results are hurt, humiliation. Yes. And you're going to damage the relationship you all have. And next time, whenever you have a need, you won't be able to see that person's face again. There is no coordination. You will damage, sabotage the beautiful coordination. I have a response on the chat box. Yeah, it's like chain management. Okay, right. So yes, there is no winner in a blame game. All of us lose if we account to a blame game, if we resort to a blame game. So then you will all now have a question. What will we do if somebody makes a mistake? We need to blame, right? What will we do? Remember, you are in a session where we are discussing change.
Talk to the person instead of the leadership, then talk to the leadership.
Superb. Talk to the person. Let me clarify once more. Let me remind all of you all once more. We are in the process of making the changes. So all of us are equally bound to commit n number of mistakes. Nobody is an exception. Nobody is a pro in navigating the change. All of us, the entire process of change itself is full of ups and downs, crests and troughs, right? So that is how the process of change looks like. So what you said makes absolute sense. We will first tell the person, and we will also tell the same to the entire team. Hey, listen, we made it this way. That didn't work. We are using the word we. We are not saying this person XYZ did it. We are not going to do it. We are saying we tried doing a certain thing in this way. That didn't work. That backfired. So we're not going to do it that way again. That is how you talk about those mistakes that are happening through the process of change. You are not attributing that little mistake to one person. You are attributing it to the entire process of change itself. Because the entire process of change is highly, highly, highly volatile. Meaning there'll be a lot of unforeseen changes, unforeseen backfires. So empathy comes as a key. Empathy is the key in navigating through the change. Followed by, there's one more friend all of us can have. That friend is flexibility, being flexible. Cognitive flexibility is allowing your people, please don't be bothered about the heavy behavioral words that I'm using. I'll try my best to simplify it as much as possible. So the first flexibility, the first kind of flexibility is your flexibility in experimenting various kinds of thinking strategies and mental frameworks, valuing everybody's ideas, opinions, thoughts, and thought processes. That is how you are flexible. You're not shutting anything down. You are involving everybody. You are taking in all the ideas and opinions. If somebody is not contributing, you can in turn go and ask them, hey, listen, I want you to speak up. I want you to share. We would like to listen to your thoughts. This is what you can do to make people flexible. And followed by emotional flexibility. We have spoken enough about the state of being. The state of being, everybody is in a state of shock and denial. So we all have a, why is he so afraid? This is a small change. Don't be so afraid. Don't panic. This will again become judgmental. You have to understand that they have their own emotions and you have to tell them that it's okay. And you have to handhold and tell them, yeah, we are in this together. I am in this together. Let me give you all a little example and ask you all. For example, somebody has the targets, the deadlines approaching, and somehow this person has not reached the targets. What's the first thing you would go and tell him? If you were responsible or if you were that person's manager. I said the deadline is approaching, but the targets have not been reached yet.
First, we will find out why things are getting delayed.
Awesome.
Based on that, we need to make a suggestion, like if he needs any support from others, or is there any dependency related things.
Yes.
It's a kind of different ways we can approach and we can find out a root cause with some other person support you.
Super. What I really liked out of all that you said was, if he needs something, if he depends, if he has some dependency, I will cater to it. I think that's a powerful statement that you have made. See, listen, I know you have worked hard enough in arriving in achieving your targets. Somehow things have gone wrong. Is there something I can do about it for you? How are you planning to overcome it? What is the best target that you can achieve in the time that is left? This is being emotionally flexible to people. And this becomes even more important as we are in the process of change. And the last thing, dispositional flexibility is all about a combination of being realistic and innovative, right? You are being very realistic and you are also optimistic about the change. You have to look for positive results. At the same time, do not ignore if something negative happens. It's fine. You're just being flexible there. This is the second friend we have. The first friend is empathy. And the second friend is flexibility. And the enemy is blame game, right? In spite of a lot of efforts, usually large corporations, all of you all have mentioned the names like SpiceJet and so many other companies have not been able to navigate change successfully. These are a few errors they have committed. Let's have a look at these errors. I think people do not create a sense of urgency, meaning people do not clarify why the change needs to be made. That's the first thing. So all of us, everybody in the team has to understand why is a change necessary. Followed by, we have to have a coalition, meaning people must have guides, coaches, people who can train them on certain skills, people who can help them overcome certain setbacks. We are all coalescing and traveling towards the goal. If we are all operating independently, it becomes a difficult bet. So are we coming together? Are we creating a network? That's the second thing. And lacking a vision, making these changes, where will it lead us? Will it lead us to success or to failure? Do we have that clarity? Have we communicated the clarity to the entire team? That's the third error people do. They lack vision and they don't communicate even if they have a vision. And the last one, the next one, okay, there's a little error in the numbers. Anyway, we do not remove obstacles to ourselves and to the team. People will be utterly demotivated. They won't be able to make a move because there are obstacles. Finally, whenever there are short-term wins, we do not celebrate and we do not actually look at short-term wins. We want that silver bullet and we want to hit the final target, which is a very rare case and is very difficult to achieve also. We will plan for smaller steps, one by one, one after one. And when we are doing it in chunks, if a failure occurs, it hits only that little chunk, not the entire process. So it's a safe way. It's a safe way of navigating change. It's a safe way of creating and implementing change by doing it in chunks. And every time there's a victory, you will go celebrate it. People don't do that. And that is what is, making the entire process of transformation a very difficult one. And the last one more error, assuming that we have emerged victorious very soon, even before achieving the end goal. These little short-term goals, if you think that it's a victory, then that might backfire again. People do that, people did that, and this is one of the reasons why they cannot transform as expected. These are a few errors that we can avoid in order to make the transformation process a good one, if not a great one. That's all about today's session. This is a beautiful collection of resources to understand change. I will recommend Who Moved My Cheese as a post-session read. If you do not have time to grab the book and read, you at least go and Google for the summary, or you can find multiple videos in YouTube. It's a story of two mice, right? Two mice who think that their cheese has been stolen by somebody. And the entire process is a beautiful story. There are lessons at every part. So they tell us how we sabotage our own the process of undergoing change, how we damage our own selves, how the mice did that, and what can we do to avoid that. It's a beautiful read, and you can watch videos also available on YouTube. Now, time for questions. It's 4 dot. That's all about today's session, navigating through change. Like I said earlier, there is no one-stop solution or a perfect formula to navigate change. It's a process of experimenting and making people feel comfortable through the process of change. More than anything, it's all about bringing people together. It's all about making people comfortable about the process of change. I have a few comments on the chat box. Nothing. Okay. All right. Let me stop sharing. Let me stop recording. I'll answer questions if you have any.